What's up, my people? This is ABOUTGH, and we are here to get you more info on the history of Ghana Black Stars. 1963 began the golden era of the Ghana Black Stars. 2 years after lifting their first continental title, Ghana returned to the African Cup of Nations in 1965, hosted by Tunisia, with the objective to confirm their status as the strongest team in Africa. Once again led by head coach CK Gyamfi, the Black Stars arrived in Tunisia with a highly stable squad and growing international confidence. The tournament format remained the same, featuring 6 teams divided into 2 groups. Ghana were drawn alongside Ivory Coast and Tunisia, and they immediately demonstrated their superiority. They opened their campaign with a 4-1 win against Ivory Coast, followed by a 5-2 win against Congo to secure their place in the final. The final in Tunis featured Ghana against Tunisia, who had advanced from the other group due to a goal difference. The hosts took another lead, but Ghana's composure and superior fitness made the difference in the second half. Goals from Frank Odoi and Osei Kofi turned the game around, securing a 3-2 victory for the Black Stars and Ghana's second straight AFCON title. Ghana became the first nation to successfully defend the African Cup of Nations. This cemented Gyamfi's legacy. He became the first coach in the tournament's history to win consecutive titles and establish the Black Stars as the dominant force in African football in the 1960s. AFCON 1965 confirmed something crucial. Ghana was no longer a rising power, but they were the benchmark. The team was standing at the very top of the football pyramid in its prime and surrounded by glory, but in the 1970s, fortune turned away from the Black Stars as they failed to qualify for the 3 successive AFCONs.
We will, in 1978, organize the championship in the rare and true spirit of brotherliness that is typical of the African.
1978 was the year of a comeback. Ghana hosted and won the African Cup of Nations in the early 1980s. However, a new generation began to lift Ghana back toward the top. With rising talents like Abedi Pele, the Black Stars rebuilt their momentum and went on to defeat host Libya in the 1982 AFCON final, securing their 4th and to date the last continental title. After the triumph of 1982, the Black Stars stood as the kings of Africa with 4 titles, a legendary reputation, and a football identity. Admired across the continent, but what followed was a long winter. Throughout the late 1980s and 1990s, Ghana produced exceptional talents like Abedi Pele, Tony Yeboah, and Samuel Kufuor. But the national team struggled to convert individual brilliance into collective glory. Ghana reached the AFCON final in 1992 but fell to the Ivory Coast in a dramatic penalty shootout, remembered for its tension, ending 11-10.
He's missed it! The Ivory Coast have won the cup!
The 1990s became a story of near misses. Ghana always had the talent, always the expectations, but the pieces never fully aligned. At the same time, a new phenomenon emerged. Ghana's youth teams were conquering the world. 1991 Under-17 World Cup champions, 1993 Under-17 runners-up, 1995 Under-17 world champions again. 1997 Under-20 runners-up, this golden generation of youth champions created a new promise. Sooner or later, these young stars would lift the senior team back to global relevance. The long-awaited breakthrough arrived in 2006 when Ghana qualified for the FIFA World Cup for the first time. In history, led by Stephen Appiah, the captain, Michael Essien, Sule Muntari, and a rising talent named Asamoah Gyan, who stunned the world. They defeated Czech Republic, then ranked number 2 globally, and USA to earn a place in the round of 16 and became one of the most celebrated African teams in Germany. Ghana had returned not just to Africa's elite, but to the global stage. In 2008, Ghana hosted the African Cup of Nations, finishing 3rd place after leading Group A, beating Guinea 2-1 in the opening game. They went on to defeat Namibia and Morocco 1-0 3-0 and 2-0 respectively. To top the group in the quarterfinals, they eliminated the biggest rivals Nigeria by beating them 2-1 with 10 men. The semi-finals saw them bow out to a 1-0 defeat to the Cameroonians. The Black Stars placed third position after a 4-2 win against their neighbors Ivory Coast to clinch the bronze medal. 4 years later in South Africa, the Black Stars wrote one of the most emotional chapters in the World Cup history. With a young squad featuring Asamoah Gyan, Andre Ayew, Kevin Prince Boateng, and the revived Sule Ali Muntari, Ghana reached the quarterfinals, only the third African team ever to do so. Then came the unforgettable moment against Uruguay, a last-minute header, a handball on the goal line, a penalty that could have made Ghana the first African team ever to reach the World Cup semi-final. Gyan struck the crossbar, Uruguay survived, and Africa cried. Yet, despite a heartbreak, the world remembered Ghana as the heartbeat of African football, fearless, emotional, and powerful. 2014 brought another World Cup appearance, but internal disputes and unfortunate timing affected the team's results. Still, Ghana reached the AFCON finals in 2015, losing dramatically to Ivory Coast on penalties again by the slimmest possible margin. This period was defined by the incredible talent, but recurring instability, coaching changes, federation challenges, and a generation growing older. By the late 2010s, a new cycle began. The next generation of Black Stars emerged with fresh energy and global profiles. Thomas Partey, the midfield engine; Mohamed Kudus, one of Africa's brightest stars; Kamaldeen Sulemana, Inaki Williams, Mohamed Salisu, Antoine Semenyo, a new wave of European-owned talents; defenders like Salisu, Njiku, redefining Ghana's backline. Ghana qualified for the 2022 World Cup, becoming the first team to eliminate Nigeria in the playoffs. In Qatar, the squad showed potential but lacked cohesion. A reminder that the evolution takes time. Today, the Black Stars are in a rebuilding phase, balancing a strong diaspora talent pool, a new technical philosophy, a push for stability in coaching and management, a mission to restore Ghana's continental dominance. Ghana entered Qatar with renewed spirits after defeating Nigeria in the playoff to qualify for the World Cup. The tournament didn't start the way Black Stars wanted. The first game against Portugal ended in a 3-2 defeat. That didn't kill the hopes of the Ghanaians, but it gave them some confidence because the Black Stars put a fight in this last game, especially in the second half. The boys took the momentum into their second game against South Korea and came out victorious in a 3-2 win. The final group stage game was a 12-year-long awaited revenge on Luis Suarez and his Uruguay, but the South Americans came out victorious. After Ghana's humiliating 2021 AFCON campaign in Cameroon, it was another chance to redeem themselves on the continent. The 2023 AFCON hosted Ghana's neighbor Ivory Coast in January 2024 seemed like a chance for the West African giants to showcase their prowess on the continent, but the story went south. It marked their consecutive time that the four-time champions failed to advance past the group stage, losing to Cape Verde in the opening game and drawing 2-2 to both Egypt and Mozambique, finishing with just 2 points in the group. After the disappointing AFCON, the Ghana Football Association decided to review the technical staff of the Black Stars. A new technical team was built, headed by Otoado. The technical directorate was also restructured, with legendary coach Winfred Schaefer heading the technical directorate of the Ghana Football Association. The task was to qualify the team to AFCON 2025 and the 2026 World Cup. Ghana failed to qualify for AFCON in Morocco in their worst AFCON qualifiers ever. They finished bottom of the table with 3 points, 3 losses, and 3 draws. The attention was quickly switched to making sure the Black Stars qualified for the World Cup. The whole nation backed this agenda, that Ghana must qualify for the World Cup at all costs. 8 wins, 1 draw, and a loss gave the Black Stars a smooth sailing into the Mundial. A clear contrast between the two qualifying campaigns. This showed that if Ghanaians together fight for a common cause, they can always achieve it. From independence in 1957, in the modern global era, the Black Stars have carried more than just sporting hopes. They represented their identity, unity, struggle, pride, and possibility. Their story is not just about trophies, it's about symbols. The Black Star on the flag, the Pan-African dream, the idea that a small West African nation can inspire an entire continent, because the Black Stars are still chasing the one chapter missing from their legend, the 5th AFCON title, and the moment when Ghana rises again to top Africa. And when that day comes, it will not just be a victory, it will be the next step in the story that began in 1957, a story still being written. This is About ABOUTGH, and I am Selwyn Saki.